Hey guys, welcome back. So in the previous session or in the previous video, we have seen about the Katalon Studio and its implementation for performing a web automation testing. So the initial content of this topic would be the same. It's like how the Katalon Studio can be used to perform web automation testing and also web services testing. So let's quickly skip certain prerequisite, which is understanding what is Katalon Studio, which has been covered in the previous session. And the prerequisite video is also included in the description of this video. So point number 1, 2, 3 is covered in the previous video, which the link, you can get it from the description area. So we'll be skipping the slide 1, slide 2, and directly we'll be talking about the real-time implementation of how to use the Katalon Studio to perform the web services automation. So let's open up the Katalan Studio in here, guys. And as you can see, the help module will be shown always, so you can just skip that. And there is a test explorer project which has been already created. So since with respect to the HTTP request in scope, we would be talking about the 4 commonly used or frequently used requests, which is get, post, put, and delete. So let's quickly get started in creating the get response, which is web service request. So I'm going to name this request as TC01, or let's say this is a get request. All right, this is a get request. And what is the URL for this? And remember, guys, the request type is RESTful, it is not SOAP. So we are doing the RESTful API testing using Katalon Studio. Also, now we should need some information related to this RESTful services. So since we're talking about the get method, so this is a URI, this is what the response body, which is not applicable because response body comes into picture when you're using put or patch or post related request which will be sent from the client to the server. So having said that, we won't be having any request body now, but the expected response body is this and status code is this. So we just have to fill in these execution status and report with respect to the testing which you're performing. So considering that, let me copy this URL. Let me come back to the Katalon Studio and click on OK. All right, so this will load up the required screen, which is get request in here. As you can see, we have the URI, and this is the button to execute the request. This is typically the same thing as we have in case of Postman, guys. So let me quickly show the Postman. So if I enter the same URL and it's a get call and hit send, let us evaluate. So the status is 200 OK, and this is what the data we are going to get. So let us store it in a notepad from the verification front. So this is what we got from the Postman. Correct. So this is the Postman response. And now let us execute the same thing in the Katalon Studio and see what is the response we're going to get. So the response has been sent and we got the status as 200 OK, which is actually the same thing as we got in case of Postman. And what about this data? So let us copy this entire data and put it in the notepad so that we can compare the information which we got by using Postman and this one. So are we getting the same response in here, guys? So this is the Katalon Studio. So if you closely observe, there's not much difference with respect to what we got because get calls are called as idempotent in nature, which means by using get calls or by making get calls from client to server, we are basically trying to fetch the information which is already present. We are not updating or creating any new resources in the server. So that being the reason, the response what we got from the Katalon Studio and the response what we got from similar tool, which is Postman, is equivalently same. So now let us quickly update our test status, which is pass, and test reporting we'll see probably in this video or in the next upcoming video. Now let us quickly go ahead to the second method, which is the post. So for that, what we will do is let us create one more web service request and let us name this request as post request. So naming convention is totally up to one's project's requirement, guys, but to keep it simple, let us name the convention to be followed for naming any request would be what operation you'll be performing, whether it is fetching the information, it is get, and creating some resources in the server, it could be post. So that's being the reason I've added post request in here and click on OK. In the meantime, let me close this post window, guys. Let me close this post window. And if you come back in here, for the post methods, we do have to enter some request body, which is this. So we have to enter request body. So in here we go HTTP body, and let me maximize it, guys, in the meantime. So in here, so authorization, we don't have any authorization, and we don't have anything. Let us click on post, so that will automatically show this option, guys. So what I'll do is, let me minimize the screen so that we are able to see what we are entering in here. So we are entering the JSON value, guys, which is this. There is a name and job. Name is a key and its respective value is Morpheus, job is leader. So let me enter the same data which is present. So name and the value is Morpheus. So let me enter it, guys. So the value is Morpheus, and next key is job and its equivalent value is leader. Okay, leader. And I'm going to save the changes by using Control S. If you see in here, closely observe, there is an asterisk symbol because the data is not saved. The moment I saved by using Control S, the asterisk vanishes off. So now we have given the URI and we have given the data, which is the predominant requirement while you're making a post request. So this is what is the response body which you're supposed to expect, and this is what is the status code. Status code completely depends on how the server is being developed, guys, or it's been implemented. So ideally, the range of codes or the status code for the post would be starting from 200. It could be 200, 201, or 202, which is accepted. However, let's see with respect to this server how it has been implemented. So let's quickly execute this, and we got this as the response. Let us use the same notepad to enter my Katalon request, and also let me enter my Postman request in here. So in the Postman, I'm going to use this post call, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this. As I can see, I'm getting this info, guys. If you see in here, I got ID and I got it created. So let me quickly go ahead in here, go to the body. If you see in here, guys, in case of Postman, I had not entered any values in here. So let me create value, which is name, which is Morpheus, and job. Let me save it. Let me save it, guys. So basically the value which we had entered there was not accepted. So this is what the response we got from the Katalon Studio. So let me paste it in here. And similarly, let us go back to the Postman and let us enter the same data, which is Morpheus. So Morpheus. And next is the job. Job would be leader. So I've saved the data and click on send. So we got 201 created in case of Postman. We also got the same status code while we used Katalon Studio, which means status code is perfectly fine. Now let us compare the response body. So let me compare the response body which I got in case of Postman. So this is where the Postman request is. Kindly observe, guys, most of the data are the same, which is name, Morpheus, and job, but ID changes, which means whenever you're using the post call, which is idempotent in nature, it allows for the existence of duplicate data, which means for the first time when you create this resource, the ID which was given from the server is 48. So the second time you try, it is the 893, which means every second time or every nth time you're writing the post request to the server, you are creating an additional resources in the server. That's what it means, guys. So let's come back to our test execution report, and we say that yes, even this is pass. let's go for the third one, which is the put request. So let me go back in here for the put request, and this is what the URL would be. And let me come back to the Excel sheet, and this is what the information we are giving, guys. It's the same name, but now the thing is job has been changed, guys. So job has been changed. So let me come here, and job, as per our example, it is Xeon resident, right? It's a put call, and we have provided a URL, URI, and we have to provide a request body for put and put or post calls. So that's being the reason I've given this data and click on send. This is what the response body we are getting, and that is from the postman. So I'm going to save this postman data. Similarly, since we have not executed for Katalon, let us go and perform the same thing. So let us create a new web service request, which is put request, and we should provide the URI, which is this, guys, the same URI which we used, which we copied from the Excel sheet. So we have a put call. So let me close this post so that there won't be any confusion. And this is a put one, and come to HTTP and provide the same value, which is name, guys. Name is Morpheus. And then the job, guys. So job is updated now. So let me copy it from here. So job is this, and let me cross check whether I'm using the same name. Yes. So yes. And now let us execute the put call. So it is asking, do you want to change the, do you want to update the data? Yes. And if you see in here, we're getting 200 OK as the status code. In case of Postman also, we got 200 OK. So we are good with validating the status code. What about the response body we are getting? So let me copy the response body from the Katalon Studio, and let us paste it in the notepad. Are we getting the same data, guys? It's exactly same. Only thing is updated time differs, because the time we executed Postman was initially, that was first executed, and this is executed second. So that's being the reason only this changes, whereas other information remains the same. And put requests are non-impedant in nature, guys. So that's why we don't have ID, which keeps on changing, as we have seen in case of post calls. All right, so having said about that, let's come back to the execution Excel and update for put. Now let us copy for delete, which is the last one, and let us go to Postman and paste it in here. If you closely observe, guys, for delete, we're not providing any request body as such, and we won't be getting any response also. This is what is the expected response body, and this is what is the expected status code. However, let us run this in the Postman, guys, and let us cross verify. Did we get 204? Yes, we got 204. And did we get any response in here? No, it is completely empty. Let's try the same thing using Katalon Studio, guys. So let's create a new web service, which is delete request, and we have to provide the URI. In the meantime, where this delete request tab opens up, let me close the put request tab, and also let me check. Okay, so and also let me check the request type. We have to change from get to delete. Since we are not providing any query parameters or HTTP body for this, we just directly go ahead and click on delete method. As you can see, this is one of the drawback which Katalon Studio has, guys. So Katalon Studio is not supporting currently the delete request which is being sent from the client to the server. So this can be considered as one of the drawback if the tool used for web services testing is Katalon Studio, and this is what the observation is. And this observation is noticed in the Katalon Studio version 7.0.3, whereas when the same delete request was performed, it was absolutely working fine in case of Postman tool, guys. So this is one of the key observation which we wanted to show. Okay, this we have to make it as none, because for delete calls we are not passing any information. However, though we did try both operations in Postman and Katalon Studio, that was one of the drawback which we see. Now let's come back to the Katalon Studio. PPT. So did we see about the HTTP request in scope, which were get, post, put, and delete? So that was about how we basically perform web request testing for REST assured using Katalon Studio, guys. And also, this is just a real-time scenario which we created now. So get was basically to fetch the information from the server, and the get related requests are idempotent in nature, which means that how many ever times the request has been made, the content or the resource which is residing in the server will not change. Whereas in case of post calls, guys, for every request sent, there would be a new resource which will be created in the server. Same is not the case in case of put and delete also. That could be also one of the differences between these requests, guys. Right, so that was about how do we perform web services testing for the commonly used HTTP request using Katalon Studio. So yeah, the reporting part is similarly the same pending with respect to web automation testing, which is the part one of video, and the link for the same will be provided in the description. So I'll be covering the reporting structure for both web automation testing and API automation testing in my coming videos, guys. Right, so thanks a lot for your time. So kindly like, share, and comment for any suggestions or feedback you have with respect to the uh, Katalon Studio features and its implementation for the different testing types. Thank you, guys.